Hey, what's going on YouTube? Last week we installed a switch so that we can have automatic headlights in the 2018 Frontier. This week we're going to install some running boards on here. Coming up. So this is my girlfriend's mom's 2018 Nissan Frontier. She did have two vehicles. She had an Altima and a Titan, but whenever she'd go to use the Titan, the battery was always dead, or there was just something wrong with it, or whatever. It wasn't in the greatest condition. You may have seen some videos that I did on it, on the repairs that I did before we sold it. So it just made more sense to have one vehicle. Instead of having the two, you have two registrations, two insurance, and all that. If you have different people driving them on a regular basis, it's a little different, but two vehicles for one person, especially when it's just sitting outside in the Phoenix heat, it just causes more issues. So just having one vehicle just makes more sense in this situation. Everybody's different. We wanted to make it a little bit easier to get into the Frontier. The Frontier doesn't sit terribly high, but it's also not as low as the Altima. So we're gonna put some running boards on there just to make it a little bit easier. So here are the running boards that we got. They're nothing fancy, they're not terribly expensive. We didn't need to go with the amp research that I have on my Tacoma, because those were $1,200 I believe, and I think these were closer to around $200 or $300. We have the two running boards, and here's the mounting hardware. So we got the brackets, and we got two packages of hardware, and the instructions. Hardware package A is going to be for attaching the brackets to the vehicle. Hardware package B is going to be attaching the running boards to the brackets. Hardware package C is not included in this kit because this is for the stainless steel steps, not for the aluminum, which is what we have. We have the aluminum ones. It looks like we only have 4 steps here, so it shouldn't be a difficult install. And here's the instructions here. Looks like we have 5 steps here. If you'd like to pause it, you can go ahead and pause it to better see the installation steps. Okay, I reviewed the instructions again real quick, and actually there is only 4 steps. So step 5 is for the stainless steel running boards. Step 4 is for the aluminum. So if you have the stainless, you'll just skip to step 5 and not use step 4, and vice versa. We have the aluminum, so we're going to step 4. We won't use step 5. So I have all the initial parts laid out. The first 3 brackets are sitting over by the side of the truck, and then I have the washers, lock nuts, and nuts all divided up. We're ready to go. All right, as you can see, we have some studs that are already here. That's what the brackets are going to mount onto. And it does to say to leave these loose so you can position everything and then tighten it down. Now we opened up package B, and we got the bolts with square heads, the flat washers, and the nylon locking nuts. And you're going to slide those into the track. It's going to be 3 for each track. Okay, we can kind of get an idea of where we want it. We want to line the bolts up so that we're not sliding it back and forth too much. It does say that if you do that, you're probably going to scratch it. But it is the bottom side, so it probably wouldn't be the end of the world if it gets scratched. And then we just put the washers and the nylon locking nuts on the bottom side. Then we'll get everything lined up where we want it and tighten it down. So the nuts on the body of the truck, it does not give me a number to torque those to, but the nuts on the bottom side of the rails here, it does say 6 to 7 foot-pounds. 7 foot-pounds is 84 inch-pounds, and that's because it's aluminum, and anything more than that could damage the aluminum rail. I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to use an electric ratchet to tighten the ones on the underside of the body. I'll probably use them to run the nuts on the bottom side as well. All right, I got the nuts tightened up on the body of the truck. I had trouble with one of them. It was missing a couple of threads at the very end of the stud, so I had to make some adjustments in order to get that on there. I removed the locking washer so I could bite enough of the threads, and used thread locker instead of the lock washer. And now I'm going to tighten up the bottoms. I'm just going to run the nuts down with the ratchet, and then I'm going to torque them. I'm wearing ear protection because I have tinnitus, so I'm trying not to make it worse. Tinnitus is constant ringing in the ears, if you don't know. All right, that's it for the install on this side, and the other side's going to be the same, so I won't bore you with the installation of that side. This was not a difficult project, but just be careful about the studs on the truck. They are very soft. I question whether they're even grade 8. It's easy to strip or shear them off. Ask me how I know. I do wish that they gave a torque setting for the studs on the truck. That would save yourself some headaches on shearing one of those bolts off. I didn't even tighten it down that tight, and it sheared right off. Up here on the front, there's extra metal making the giving you less access to the studs. So the overall length of the studs essentially shorter. And I wasn't able to use the locking washers that were provided and have enough threads to actually get the nut on there, so I used some thread locker on those ones. So as long as you don't shear off a stud, it is an easy install. If you're interested in these steps, I'll put a link in the description below. These are the 5-inch wide ones. They do have 4-inch and 6-inch options, and that is basically the depth of the tread here, and these ones are the 5-inch ones. I was concerned that the 6-inch might be a little bit too big, but 6-inch probably would have been fine. 5-inch looked fine. 4-inch might have been a little narrow. But anyway, I think that's it for this video, and we will catch you on the next project. See ya!